Okay, close your eyes for just a second. I want you to step back in time with me. Picture the atmospheric, thick morning fog rolling into a historic stadium. You can almost feel that crisp chill in the air, right? And you can hear the low, steady rumble of thousands of footsteps echoing around you. It's just moments before the unthinkable shatters the roar of the crowd. Look, we all love our sports, the triumph, the spectacle, the sheer human drama of it all. But today we're looking at the shadows cast by those bright stadium lights. So, it really begs the question, what is the actual true cost of our favorite games? We're going to explore the forgotten, honestly terrifying moments when our pursuit of athletic spectacle exacted the ultimate price. We'll dive into the human journey, the unbelievable tension leading up to these events, and see how these devastating tragedies actually served as the profound catalysts for the safety nets we completely take for granted today. Act 1. The spectacle and the spectators. When the sheer volume of human passion meets inadequate infrastructure, the results can literally alter history. Picture this, the incredible tension of a massive Thanksgiving Day rivalry back in 1900. It's the Stanford versus Cal Big Game in San Francisco. This game was rapidly becoming a massive phenomenon, and the stadium was packed to the absolute brim. With literally no seats left, overflow crowds, including hundreds of unsupervised kids who were just desperate for a view of the gridiron, clambered up onto the corrugated iron roof of a nearby glassworks factory. The authorities were totally unprepared, and these kids were just looking for the best vantage point. Well, that rickety roof tap, totally unable to support the weight of hundreds of eager fans, suddenly collapsed. Spectators were plunged dozens of feet directly into the blazing furnaces and heavy machinery of the factory down below. The local call newspaper described the immediate aftermath as a veritable hell of anguish. It was a grisly nightmare of smoke, shattered glass, and screams that absolutely staggered the city. Pause for a second to really consider this somber reality. More than 20 people, mostly young children, perished. It remains the deadliest sporting disaster in American history. And yet, shockingly, it's an event almost entirely forgotten today. There's hardly a monument to mark where those passionate fans lost their lives simply trying to watch a football game. Now let's fast forward a few decades and across the Atlantic to see how this vulnerability built into an even larger systemic failure in Sheffield, England. This tracks the minute-by-minute dread of the 1989 Hillsborough disaster during an FA Cup semi-final. As thousands of Liverpool fans arrived, severe congestion started building up outside the Leppings Lane turnstiles. In a catastrophic lapse of police command, an order was given at 14:52 to open exit gate C to relieve the pressure outside. But tragically, this fatally funneled a massive influx of supporters directly into two central standing-only pens that were already dangerously overcrowded. The deafening chaos in those central pens was followed by a profound, heartbreaking silence. 97. That's how many people ultimately died. 766 more were injured in what remains the deadliest disaster in British sporting history. It was a complete failure of infrastructure, of crowd control, and of policing, and it forever changed the landscape of global football. Act 2. The vulnerable competitor. Now let's pivot from the stands right down onto the field, or in this case, the track. When athletes push the absolute limits of the human body, the environment they compete in can turn lethal in a fraction of a second. In the blistering heat of early 1900s velodromes, cycling was this massive, high-stakes spectacle. To hit these impossible speeds, cyclists used pacemakers, motorcyclists riding directly in front of them to create a slipstream. So you had cyclists chasing these loud, heavy motorcycles at terrifying speeds. A slight touch of a wheel, which is exactly what happened to English champion Bert Harris in 1897, resulted in brutal, fatal crashes that sent shockwaves through the entire sporting world. Or take combat sports, where danger is literally written into the rulebook. Consider this medical case study from November 22, 1986. A healthy 15-year-old boy in the 68-kilogram class entered a wrestling tournament. He was losing 11 points to 3 in the second round when he faced a sudden, devastating, and ultimately fatal external trauma during a completely standard match. It came down to a fleeting moment of faulty technique. The young wrestler was in a lower disadvantaged position. His head became improperly trapped between the mat and his own forearm. So when his opponent applied a forceful yet perfectly permissible grip to overthrow him, the immense pressure ruptured the boy's vertebral arteries. This caused acute brainstem ischemia, basically a sudden interruption of blood flow to the brain, and instantaneous death. It's a really stark reminder of the incredibly fragile line between competition and catastrophe. Act 2. The unseen internal threat. But sometimes the biggest danger isn't failing infrastructure, and it's not the physical force of an opponent. Sometimes the threat is an invisible time bomb hidden deep within the athlete's own meticulously conditioned body. Sudden cardiac death in young athletes is a terrifying reality. In competitors under 35, genetic conditions like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a thickening of the heart muscle, make up 26% of these incidents. These are the leading silent killers of otherwise perfectly healthy, elite competitors. Then there's commotio cordis, which accounts for about 20% of these cases and is almost impossible to anticipate. It shows how a perfectly timed, seemingly innocent strike to the chest, like from a baseball, a hockey puck, or a collision, can instantly disrupt the electrical rhythm of a structurally normal heart. It stops it completely in its tracks. It's just a terrifying alignment of physics and biology. Now, as scary as that sounds, we do need to put those numbers into perspective. The overall rate of sudden cardiac death in NCAA athletes is about 1 in 43,000. That really frames the tragic rarity of these internal physiological failures. Yet, when they do happen, especially in front of thousands of fans, they sear themselves into our collective memory, rightfully demanding an immediate medical response. Act 3, a legacy of reform. Tragedy is honestly the cruelest teacher we have, but it is effective. The cause and effect of sporting evolution is written in laws. Those assigned all-seater stadiums you enjoy today, they were born directly from the Taylor Report following Hillsborough. The helmet your favorite Tour de France cyclist wears was mandated by the UCI only after the fatal crash of Andrei Kovalev in 2003. And the strict referee protocols in amateur wrestling trace back directly to medical studies of fatal injuries in the 1980s. So all these modern safety directives, whether it's ensuring a massive increase in umpires to watch every micro movement in a wrestling match, redesigning stadium architecture to completely remove standing pens, or having automated external defibrillators mere seconds away from the field of play. These rigorous mandates are the living legacy of the victims. Every single piece of protective gear, every crowd control barrier represents a lesson written in loss. So the next time you're cheering from a safe assigned stadium seat, or you watch a cyclist dust themselves off and walk away from a horrifying 40-mile-per-hour crash, look a little closer. Think about what other modern comforts were born from a forgotten tragedy. When you watch your next game, will you see the ghosts of the people who made it safe?